Second day of the 59th Star Trophy Urnersee, and the weather was not very promising from early on. Nonetheless, the skies eventually cleared and the boats headed to start their second race of the event. Today's weather was very shifty and very unpredictable from the start of the race. The majority of the fleet preferred to stay close to the committee boat end in order to be able to sail longer towards the rocky wall that surrounds Lake Lucern. A stunning view and a great background for the 26 teams competing here. The top boats from yesterday's race were packed together on leeward, and it was clear from early on that they would head for the left side of the racetrack, aiming to take advantage of the wind shift near the shore. Some of the fleets were forced to head to the right for a better position, but already by the middle of the upwind, the boats who had chosen the left side of the track had claimed an advantage. First to reach the weather mark, having sailed up the left side of the course, were the Russians Andrei Breznov and crew Sergei Mazlov, who had a great lead from the rest of the fleet and with very little pressure from any boats behind them, tacked around the top mark and headed onto the downwind leg. They were the only Russian team competing here, and along with the two German teams, they break the Swiss domination of the event, giving an international perspective. Just behind the Russians, it was the Swiss pair of Jurg Wittich and Traschel who also had secured a safe lead over the rest of the pack, and after a third place in yesterday's race, were on their way to climb a few more places up the leaderboard. But the overall leaders, Germany's Philipp Rothmund and crew Niels Holvig, were not ready to relinquish their top place on the leaderboard and followed in third, leading a big pack with the Swiss boat of Jean-Pascal Chatanet and Patrick Ducomont slipping in from the inside. The fleet soon jibed and headed to the right side of the racecourse, with the Russians still maintaining their lead and heading for the bottom gate, looked certain to take the win. But the interest was further back in the fleet now, as the Germans were starting to feel the pressure from the two Swiss boats of Lorenz Zimmermann and Tobias Zimmermann on leeward, and Urs Hunkeler with crew Enrico Di Maria on windward. The experience of Di Maria crewing for Flavio Marazzi at the 2012 Olympic Games could really make the difference, and the Germans knew that. The three boats reached the bottom mark together, and their fight during the downwind leg had helped to close the gap to second place and Wittich with Traschel to 0. The four boats rounded together, and it was now all or nothing for second place. At the same time, the Russians chose to again head for the left side, trying to repeat their success of the first upwind. Even though they had a safe lead from the rest, a big wind shift at the right side of the course forced them to tack in order to hold on to their place. The wind then dropped dramatically, and the race committee decided to shorten the race and finish the fleet at the weather mark. This opportunity was grasped by the Swiss pair of Wittich and Traschel, who hit the left corner of the course and took advantage of the stronger wind that gave them the extra speed needed to slip into first and claim first place on the leaderboard. Seconds across the finish line were their teammates Jurg Rethel and crew Alex Guda, who looked happy with their place. Yesterday's leader, the Germans Rothmund and Holvig, did everything not to lose the top place on the leaderboard, and after finishing in third place are now on equal points with the Swiss. The big losers of the day were the Russian team, who finally finished in fifth place. With only 2 races sailed and no discard in the game, every mistake counts now at the 59th Star Trophy Urnersee. With the breeze expected to be stronger tomorrow, many teams are hoping 2 races to be sailed in order for a discard to come into play. Stay tuned.